what I have noticed from day one that I moved here. The French or the British or the Germans, the Swiss, the Italians are trashing like mad to get the same results that we get by simply doing it nice and easy. They lack method, and the method that they use is not a method. They are too disorganized, but they are very good at what they are doing.
You mean that generally or in small parts?
Generally, everything. For instance, for 20 years, I was a distributor for a French company that makes the most beautiful racing clothing and helmets in the world. I mean, they are the best, period. And that company was so totally inefficient in what they were doing. Now, today they are. And why they are efficient today? Because they came here and watched. And now they have brought that back to where they are, and now they are very efficient, but nowhere as efficient as some American companies doing the same job. Where they are efficient is that they have a better product and a more ingenuity in designing and engineering the product, and there they are very good. But as far as running the company, no, they are not quite as good.
But when you grew up, when you started stock car racing, most of the people at the time, they did build their own cars, right? Like they're doing.
No.
No, they bought them.
Well, very few did. Mostly it was dynamic chassis with Mabuchi motors, and not too many were actually building chassis. I was one of very, very few.
Few of them. So when you came to the United States, California especially was booming, right?
Yeah,
they build them, right?
Yeah, I had no real problem to build the chassis immediately. Mine were a little bit hesitant at first because we were doing it so differently here than they were doing in Europe. But at the same time, now I can build a chassis like I breeze. It's not a problem. But my chassis at the time, like in the 70s, when I was really going fast, like in open class racing, they were. I mean, I never really had issues to solder or cut or whatever. It was fairly easy.
Yeah, so one of your finer pieces, the diamond chassis.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous piece.
Yeah, some of them, I built probably, of the diamond chassis itself, I built about approximately 200 total. But the regular chassis, I built over 1,500 in like a span of 2.5 years, It was unbelievable. I sold like 1,000 production chassis to REH. So I was like cranking them like there is no tomorrow. The diamond chassis themselves, I probably built maybe 20 for myself, and the rest of them I sold because everybody wanted one, and I sold them for good money. I was selling chassis for $100 at a time where a complete car would be $100.
Yeah. So what was the innovation with the diamond chassis for the time being?
Pardon me?
What was the innovation of the diamond chassis that was so successful?
Well, basically what it was is that it was the first chassis that did not use a drop arm. The first pro racing chassis did not use a drop arm and used a solid center section from back to front, and it also used a much more rigid center section with much more floating things around. And the front suspension had two things that were working. It was spring-loaded, very stiff, and the front wheels had a toe-in and a camber, so that if the car would actually start cornering and start leaning on that wheel would direct it back to the center. So it actually worked really well. And so there was less friction on the guide, and you could actually go faster just by applying less friction on your guide by having your tire working for you. And I also was the only one ever to use 3 bearings on the rear axle. A couple of people copied it, but very few. And what I found out is that we were using 13/16 rear tires, and the wheels were heavier at the time, and there was axle flex.
Okay.
And so to reduce axle flex, a third bearing would totally neutralize it. It would smooth out the car incredibly well. So the cars were so smooth to drive that you could really adjust the handling to a precision that nobody had ever had before. So I was not that great of a driver, believe me. The cars were fabulous. And so I could win with a car that was just simply better.
So the third bearing actually would take the load of the axle.
It would stop any axle tramp, you know. And so when you would accelerate instead of going, you know, it would just, you know, very, very smooth. And it